What if I told you that the most famous island in the world was once bought for the price of a luxury handbag? That it hides a secret gold vault 80 feet below the ground? And that beneath its streets lie forgotten rivers, buried cemeteries, and entire neighborhoods erased from history? Today we're diving into the untold top 10 shocking facts about Manhattan. And trust me, some of these will completely change how you see New York City. Let's start with something almost unbelievable. Long before the skyscrapers, before Wall Street, before Times Square, Manhattan was purchased in 1626 by Dutch settlers from Native Americans for goods worth about 60 guilders. That's often said to be around $24 in old calculations, though modern estimates suggest it may be closer to $1,000 in today's money. Still, imagine buying the most expensive real estate on Earth for the price of a new iPhone. The buyer was Peter Minuit of the Dutch colony of New Netherland. But here as the twist, historians believe the Native Americans likely did not see it as a permanent sale of land the way Europeans did. Two completely different worldviews collided, and the future financial capital of the world was born from that misunderstanding. Now fast forward to the heart of global finance, Wall Street. Most people know it as the home of the New York Stock Exchange, but very few know where the name actually comes from. In the 1600s, the Dutch built a wooden wall on the southern tip of Manhattan to protect themselves from potential invasions. That wall stood roughly where Wall Street is today. The wall is gone, but the power it symbolizes only grew stronger. And speaking of power, did you know that beneath the Federal Reserve Bank of New York lies one of the largest gold vaults on the planet? About 80 feet below street level, sitting on Manhattan's solid bedrock, there are thousands of tons of gold, much of it owned by foreign governments. It's like a modern-day treasure chamber hidden under the city that never sleeps. But Manhattan isn't just built on ambition and money, it's built on secrets. Under the busy streets flows a hidden river most people don't even know exists. The Minetta Brook once ran freely through Greenwich Village. Today, it's buried underground, forced into tunnels and sewers. If you walk certain streets after heavy rain, you're actually walking above a forgotten stream that once shaped the land. Manhattan has literally paved over parts of its natural history, and it doesn't stop there. In the 1990s, construction workers in Lower Manhattan made a chilling discovery. Beneath a parking lot, they found a burial ground containing the remains of over 400 African men, women, and children. This site became the African Burial Ground National Monument. It revealed a painful truth, that enslaved Africans played a major role in building early New York. For decades, their stories were hidden beneath concrete. Manhattan's shine was built in part on invisible labor. Now here's something that sounds like a movie plot. During World War II, a secret military research lab operated in Manhattan. It was part of what later became known as the Manhattan Project, the top-secret program that developed the first atomic bomb. While much of the work happened elsewhere, the name itself came from the Manhattan Engineer District. So yes, the island's name is forever linked to one of the most world-changing scientific developments in history. But Manhattan also has stories of survival that feel almost cinematic. In 1888, a massive blizzard, later called the Great Blizzard of 1888, buried New York under up to 21 inches of snow. Trains were frozen. Telegraph lines collapsed. Hundreds of people died across the region. Manhattan was paralyzed. That storm led to the decision to bury power and telegraph lines underground, and eventually inspired the creation of the subway system. Out of disaster came innovation. And speaking of the subway, and it hides its own mysteries. There is an abandoned subway station beneath City Hall that looks like something out of a Roman palace, with beautiful arches and skylights. Opened in 1904, it was closed just decades later because it couldn't accommodate longer trains. Today, it sits mostly empty, a stunning underground time capsule that very few people ever get to see. But Manhattan's transformation wasn't always glamorous. In the 19th century, 5 Points, located in what is now Chinatown and Civic Center, was considered one of the most dangerous and impoverished neighborhoods in America. Overcrowded tenements, poor sanitation, and crime made it infamous. Even Abraham Lincoln visited the area in 1860 to witness conditions firsthand. Today, luxury buildings stand where slums once existed. Manhattan constantly reinvents itself, sometimes erasing uncomfortable chapters along the way. Now here's something almost unbelievable. Central Park, the green heart of Manhattan, wasn't always a peaceful escape. Before it was built in the 1850s, the land was home to a predominantly black community called Seneca Village. Around 1,600 residents lived there, owning property, building churches, raising families. But when the city decided to create Central Park, the residents were forced to leave through eminent domain. Their homes were demolished. For decades, their story faded from public memory, until historians uncovered it again. So when you walk through Central Park, you're also walking through layers of erased history. And finally, let's talk about Manhattan's skyline. The race to build the tallest building in the world once turned into an architectural battle. In 1930, the Bank of Manhattan building at 40 Wall Street briefly claimed the world's tallest title. But the architects of the Chrysler Building had secretly assembled a massive spire inside the building and raised it in just 90 minutes, claiming the crown at 1,046 feet. It was a dramatic, almost theatrical moment, a silent victory in steel and ambition. That competitive spirit helped define Manhattan's identity: bold, relentless, always reaching higher. But here's the deeper truth. Manhattan isn't just skyscrapers and stock markets. It's layers of dreams, displacement, innovation, struggle, and resilience. It's buried rivers and hidden vaults, forgotten communities and world-changing ideas, storms that forced reinvention, walls that became symbols of power. Every block has a story. Every building stands on top of another chapter. And maybe that's what makes Manhattan so magnetic. It is not just a place. It is a living timeline of human ambition and contradiction. So next time you see that skyline, remember, beneath the lights and luxury are centuries of untold stories still echoing under the streets. And trust me, we've only scratched the surface.